4 years ago, the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown recruited a high school basketball player named John Paul Kromka from Monroeville. During his career here, he has shined, not only on the court, but off the court as well. He has been nominated multiple times for Defensive Player of the Year, as well as being a 3-time academic All-American. Senior Ryan Carr had the opportunity to sit down with John Paul after a successful 2023 season to catch up and discuss his years here as his time at UPJ is coming to an end.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Carr. I'm a senior communications major here. Along with me I have John Paul Kromka, who is majoring in mechanical engineering as well as playing forward for the men's basketball team here at UPJ. Well, let's introduce John Paul. How's it feel to be here today?
Good. It's kind of always weird after the season. Things are winding down. You think there's always more free time, but it turns out you're usually just as busy as usual. So, but no, everything's good.
Yeah, definitely. If it's okay with you, we're just going to kind of look over how you got your start in basketball and from there on out. So, growing up, did somebody inspire you to play? Was it a family member, a friend, or?
Yeah, I think I was fortunate enough. I come from a large family. I have 7 siblings, and 5 of them being older. I was kind of thrown into basketball whether I wanted to or not, and it's kind of just something that was always in our life. The older brothers and sisters shooting the big hoop, we had the little take soup right next to it, so it was always like a family affair, and something that I'm just very grateful for, that I was able to enjoy that in a good neighborhood with good family. And I don't know, that's just where the roots were planted. And then going to the practices and games when I was little, it just seemed like the next thing in line was for me to start playing basketball on my own. That's eventually what happened. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Basketball was always something that was kind of in your blood then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So during your high school career at Gateway, you scored 1,000 points, led your team to a section championship. You also played in the Round Ball Classic, where multiple NBA stars have played before they've gone on their journey. You must have had tons of schools vying to get your signature, so what ultimately led you to commit here?
Committing here is kind of like, it all was going very slowly, and then all of a sudden it went very, very fast. I guess like throughout high school, I played a little bit of like AAU basketball in the spring, but not much because I also played volleyball, so it's hard to have enough time to do school volleyball and AAU basketball. So I didn't really have a lot of exposure, I guess, but I was talking to some coaches, and as the year was going on, I went from my junior to my senior year, and it was the fall of my senior year, and I was playing in a fall league basketball game. It's something where I thought it didn't really matter, just something to get tuned up before the season, get ready to go. And Coach Rook was there watching a kid on the other team play, and he came and introduced himself to me after the game. And then 2 days later, I think we had another fall league game, and he talked to me after the game again. That's when he was like, all right, we want you to come here, we'll give you a scholarship. And to me, I was like, I didn't have like a full scholarship at that point, so it just seemed like a great offer. And then I came up to campus, loved campus up here, loved the coaching staff, Coach Rook, Coach Grubbs, they've been great. And it's just kind of funny how it all worked out so fast, and just like that, I knew what I was doing, because it was very uncertain for a long time, and having that certainty was pretty reassuring then going into my senior year, where I could just play and not have to worry about what my next steps were after finishing high school.
Yeah, that's great. That's an amazing story, really, of just happening up out of nowhere when you least expect it. 2018-2019, you're the new kid on the block. You still burst out on the team. You led your team in rebounds, field goal percentage, as well as block shots, which ultimately helped you win Defensive Player of the Year, but also West Freshman of the Year as well. So it seems like you didn't have that many challenges adjusting, but did you have any challenges adjusting to either basketball or school?
Yeah, I'd say there were a lot of challenges adjusting, especially in basketball. It was realizing that you weren't going to be the biggest guy on the court anymore. You were the tallest guy, or you could just get rebounds kind of by default just for being the big kid in there. My freshman year, we had like 5 big guys on the team that were pretty much going to be vying for 2 starting spots. So that was probably the hardest, most intense basketball I've played in my life, I think, because every single day in practice, where we would have these individual workouts where it was just the 5 of us just going at each other as hard as we could, because we're all trying to make our mark and impress the coaches and say why we should get one of those starting spots. And the way it all worked out, I was fortunate enough to get one of those starting spots. I mean, we all battled. Like each one of us would have been deserving those starting spots. We really put each other through the ringer. Sometimes the other guy would come down and watch and say, "You guys just playing football?" They're trying to do that. But it was one of those things that I was fortunate because I was kind of, instead of getting a wake-up call later in the season where someone would run me over, it's just that wake-up call happened a lot earlier. And then academics was nice too because I kind of was able to take some classes in high school where I could get a little bit of background on them, so it wasn't as much of a learning curve there. But yeah, just very grateful for that. I had all the guys on the team too that were willing to help each other along. All the older guys, they were looking out for us freshmen coming in and wanting really what was best for us.
So that transition a little
yeah,
easier
exactly.
from high school to college.
Yeah.
So going into your sophomore year, to the 2019-2020 season, kind of proved that your Defensive Player of the Year was no fluke. Multiple Defensive Player of the Week honors, multiple throughout the year. So something with that is, how do you train for defense?
I think a lot of it is, there's certain physical aspects that are great to have, like being strong, being able to jump, like your lateral quickness, but you can train all those things. Another one of those things that you can't necessarily train physically is just like knowing like the game of basketball, like what your basketball IQ is, and trying to understand when you should help and when you should rotate and all that stuff. But a big thing that I think I was able to learn from my older brothers especially was communicating and realizing that even my freshman year I came in, it's like, you might be a freshman on the team and certain leadership roles, I'm not going to be this super vocal leader coming being a freshman because I don't know what the team's like, but I can certainly be vocal on defense, and I feel like that is something that really helped me because being vocal on defense, you're letting your teammates know you're there for them. So as much as a lot of it is, physicality and being able to like actually slide with the defender or box someone out, a lot of it is also just talking on defense, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, because I've always said, you can go out and shoot 500 shots and improve your shooting, but you can't really defend against someone that's
you can't
not
really
there.
do that.
But so was it something that kind of came naturally to you? Would you say being able to block shots or
I think something that helped with blocking shots was playing volleyball, just because I was like a middle hitter in volleyball, so I had to work on my footwork up there and be able to get off my feet quick there. So I think that certainly translated well. But in terms of trying to guard someone, I probably learned back to playing basketball in the street against my brothers is where it probably all started, where you just start really wanting to make it a point of pride to not let them score on you. And if they did, they would let you know about it. And then that just made you want to stop them all the more,
Oh, yeah.
So that's where that came
Being
from.
the little brother, you definitely want to take out the big brothers.
Yeah.
So the 2020-2021 season was unfortunately canceled due to COVID.
Yeah.
That still didn't stop you, though, from winning or being awarded your second academic All-American for the second straight year. So what was kind of different with the COVID year compared to all of your other years that you have been here?
The COVID year was different because I've talked to my roommates about this all the time, but we kind of felt like normal college students, where it was, okay, go to class and then take care of your homework, and instead of having practice and games all the time, we just didn't have that. We were trying to have practice and games, but I think we got 2 weeks in the fall, and then there's another COVID outbreak, so they shut everything down. So at that point, it was kind of, what are you going to be able to do on your own, and take advantage of that time. So that year I was really able to, take care of schoolwork, because junior year was very difficult academically, and I've said that if the season was going on, it probably would have been a lot harder, a lot less time on my hands. And then also, would get in the gym, get in the weight room, was really beneficial, just trying to take advantage of that time.
Definitely. Building up your physicality, building up your strength.
Yeah, trying to, I guess.
But coming off the COVID pandemic, the 2021-2022 season, you proved that, you picked right back up where you left off. You led the Mountain Cats in scoring, averaging 17.5 points per game, field goal percentage again, and you actually also led Division II in block shots with 88. During that time, you also surpassed 1,000 points as well. So what did that mean to you? What kind of feelings were you experiencing when that when that happened.
Yeah, going from not being able to play for like a whole year, it just makes you realize like how much you wanted to play. And even now, the season ended, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. But it's hard. I'm already getting that itch to want to go out and play pickup with the guys again. But in terms of that 2021, 2022 year with, surpassing 1,000 points, being able to get rebounds for the team, all that stuff, it's just, I wouldn't be able to do it without the teammates I had, because so much of our offense, I was not going to, come off a pick and roll or something like that. I was going to be the one setting the screen and then rolling. So a lot of it was relying on my teammates to pass me the ball when I was going to be open, and then up to me to be able to make the shot, whatever it would have been. But yeah, like as much as it's cool to get those awards and all that stuff, I owe a lot of it to my teammates, because a big guy, you have to rely on your teammates to make good reads for you, and then it's up to you to finish from there.
Definitely. That's actually a great insight. I never really thought about it like that,
Yeah.
So now we're into your final season here at UPJ. It's been quite a long journey.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. We've seen you grown into this leadership role kind of within the team. So how did that come about, or how did you manage that when you started to notice, or if there wasn't noticing the transition of becoming a leader?
Yeah, so I think my sophomore year, I was captain with one of the seniors at the time, Josh Wise. In our 2 roles, he was the one that was going to be very vocal in the huddles, very, in your face, and let you know when you messed up. And I was kind of just going to be, his little sidekick there, and just like try to support people along the way and help them stay positive while I can. And in these last 2 years we've been playing, I've just tried to reinforce that with my teams, is just staying positive in those times whenever it's not going our way. And I've been able to be more vocal in the huddles, just to let us know, like, hey, basketball's a game of runs. The game's going to go up and down, but we're going to be all right. That kind of stuff is just really important. And I think that's why it's important for me to have been there, because I was never one to really get super excited in games. I was never really one to get super down in games, because 40 minutes is a long time. There's going to be a lot of plays, so there's always going to be a chance to make up for something or a chance to mess something up. So you never know what you're going to do. You just always have to be ready for either one. And having your teammates back through those situations is really important. That's what I was trying to be there for.
Definitely, yeah. And you've also mentioned a little bit before, but your brother is also on the team with you, correct?
Yeah.
Does that ever bring back any old memories when you guys were playing on the blacktop or anything?
Yeah, it's kind of different, because like he was younger at the time. I remember playing 3-on-3 with our 6 boys in the family, playing 3-on-3, and just by default we were guarding each other. But at the time, I was probably 12 and he was maybe 8, and I go over and I block his shot. All my older brothers yell at me for blocking his shot. I'm like, what do you guys want me to do? Like, we're playing a game here. I'm not going to let him score on me. So a little bit of that, but then also just been trying to show him what I've learned in basketball these last 5 years, because the college game is different than the high school game. So trying to share what I know so that he can learn, and also he sees it a different way. So I've been learning from him as well. And it's just something I'm very grateful for, and it's just sharing that chance to play college basketball. So it's not something that you can do all the time. So I was certainly grateful for the opportunity to play with him, and I'm sure that's something that we'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. That's nice. Is there any memories that you would like to share within your 5 years here, with either with the team or a specific game that you remember, anything?
There's just a lot. There's the game that I remember feeling like the most adrenaline, the thing where I felt like my brain was just going crazy, is our sophomore year. We played Gannon at home, and my roommate Joe Batt ended up hitting this 3 like almost at the buzzer, and to make us win by 1. And I remember just running down the court. It was one of those things. I don't know if you've seen like the Tyler Hansborough after he hit the Virginia Tech shot. He just goes running down the court crazy, and I was pushing my roommate, and he's trying to get out of the way, still play defense. But I thought the game was just great. Like, then there's so many things like that. Just being able to play back, like in college, I was really able to play basketball with like my best friends. So that's something I'm very grateful for. And there are so many memories that I can look back to. And there's just times where we just talk for hours about these things that have gone on and just reminisce about them. And from like the jokes in the locker room to things going on in practice to coaches yelling at us. It wasn't funny then, but it's funny now because we can't get in trouble for it anymore and all that stuff. So there's just so much of it that I'm grateful for, and really all of it, even like the parts that were not fun. You know, there's times I'm sure once I'm working, then I'm gonna wish I could go back and do the not fun parts rather than go work. But all of it, just very grateful for the whole opportunity to play here.
Your family away from your family, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, we have been talking mostly about your sports career here.
Yeah.
As well as being a stellar athlete, you are also quite the scholar. You are a 4-time academic All-American, being included in the first team 3 times. So how did you manage to keep up with your studies during playing basketball season?
Something that is probably different for me as opposed to a lot of kids, that especially I've had roommates and teammates, they love playing Xbox and stuff. And yeah, like I have a phone, I can be distracted sometimes, but there's a lot of time that is available outside of class and outside of practice. It's just what you choose to do with that time is really what makes the difference. And just taking advantage of that as best you can. And it really, the biggest help that I think that I've had, especially as the engineering classes went on, got harder and harder, was getting friends that were willing to help me when I was struggling, you know. And I always thought like, oh, I can be the smartest guy in the room, but it turns out you're not going to be the smartest guy everywhere you go. And a lot of my friends were definitely very smart, and we got in good study groups, able to help each other a lot, and that was something I was very grateful for, because doing this on my own probably would have been impossible. So having that type of help and those friends that were willing to do that was just awesome. I was very grateful for that as well. Yeah,
that's definitely going to be very helpful to future student athletes.
Yeah, get study groups, get friends that know things, you know, smarter, and ones that you can teach it to, because once you can teach it, then you know you learn even more.
You can only learn more if you surround yourself with people who are smarter and smarter. And it also just came out that you were named the Division II Men's Academic All-American of the Year.
Yeah.
Was that something that you were grinding towards? Was that something that you just always focused on your schoolwork and it happened?
I think, yeah. And there was not like, that was not a goal that I had set at the beginning of the year. You know, I wasn't really sure that like existed. You know, it was one of those things that I was just going to do what I had been doing for what felt like my whole life, where you just play basketball, you do schoolwork, and you're able to enjoy both of them, and try to use the gifts that you have, you know, the God-given gifts that you have, to the best of your ability. So that's what that was, and it was just a byproduct of trying to do good over the last 5 years, I think. Just, you know, putting the work on the basketball court as well as the classroom. I think that's what that was.
Was there any certain like emotions or feelings you had when you did get the news that you won the award?
Yeah, I was kind of just struck in disbelief, I guess. I didn't really realize like how big it was, and just it just felt like the culmination of all this work, like it had paid off. Even though it had been paying off all the years, that was just, you know, a nice way to say, like, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, this is a good way to do it. You know, take care of your work, be a good student, be a good guy on the court, and then, you know, the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. But, you know, our time's going to be running out of here soon.
Yeah.
So what does the next chapter in your life hopefully entail for you?
So I've accepted a job with Westinghouse up in Cranberry. I've been able to intern with them the past couple of summers. Like the people I work with up there, like the group. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what kind of doors can open up here, and we'll see. Maybe I'll start coaching a little bit of basketball here and there down the road. I'd like to stay involved in the game somehow.
Yeah,
share what I know. So yeah, that's what I see so far. It's limited, but we're just gonna roll with the punches, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. But I want to thank you for your time today, and I really appreciate you coming out here and taking the time out of your day and doing this interview.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thanks for talking.
Yeah.